I'm about to show you something I consider super embarrassing. These are some photos of me from ages 11 to 13. Photos of me used to be actual photos that you can hold and put in a baby book. Then they entered the digital age, and there's not many without text written on top or a hideous filter. If I ever show these photos to my grandchildren one day, they're gonna be like, "Grandma, what is this?" The internet has been alive longer than I have. Google and I share a birth year. As someone who experienced most of my life digitally documented, how will this impact how I'll remember and share the memories of my life? And do the different ways we capture and store those memories over time make a difference? We take billions and billions of photos a day. The first photo, well, at least the first surviving photo, was taken in 1826 or 27. By 2014, we had taken 880 billion. That's a lot of memories. I wanted to find someone who preferred taking less photos to see if it affected the way they look back on memories. So I spoke to Dominic Lewis. He opened a film store during the pandemic.
When I first started photography, I started with a digital camera. I had like a hard drive with all my work on it, and that hard drive crashed. And I lost everything that I possibly had shot and just felt crushed. Once I started shooting film, I definitely fully started to grasp photography as like an art form and as a science. I'll probably shoot 2 to 3 rolls tops, and that's even so much because I feel like I don't need that much images. When you're shooting film, you tend to shoot a lot slower than you would with a digital camera. You tend to think about each shot specifically because each shot you're literally spending money on. You probably look at an image maximum a second or 2 on your phone, but when it's physically in your hand, you can actually look at the detail, you can see up close certain things, and then even so much as like give certain images away, like, oh, you can keep this one or put this in your fridge. And it definitely allows me to, I feel like, see the image better and also relive that moment a lot better than to, just looking at my phone. Phone is cool, but like, it's not the same for some reason.
Dominic curates his memories. By taking fewer photos and keeping hard copies of them, he focuses on the ones that resonate with him. He might be onto something. Taking so many photos affects our memory. When we capture every single moment and use our phones to store it, we use it as an external hard drive for our brain. I'm not just making it up. Ask psychologist Linda Hinkle. She did a study on this topic called cognitive offloading.
I had students from Fairfield University go to our lovely Bellarmine Museum. We took them on a guided tour, and we told them specifically, okay, now I want you to look at this. And at the end, after the 20, 30 seconds, sometimes I would say, take a picture of it. And other times I would say, nope, just keep looking for a few more seconds and let's move on. So once they took that photo, it's as if, okay, got it, let's move on. And in that case, if they took photos, the ones that they took photos of, the objects of art, they didn't remember as many visual details several days later. What was on the statue's head, what was in the sky in the painting over there. And so it impaired their memory. The act of taking photos impaired their memory, in part because they're expecting the camera to remember for them.
If you know you can retrieve the information from somewhere else, your brain will subconsciously forget the info to free up cognitive space. So all it has to do is remember where you stored it. This isn't a new concept. We do this when we take a photo of our parking space or create a grocery list. Actually, Greek philosophers were all like, if you write stuff down, you'll never remember anything.
Photos are useful as a retrieval cue, but not when you've got 5 million and you never actually sit down and look at them.
I wanted to get another perspective from someone who is super online, who documented everything digitally. Did they remember everything they took? Did they feel as sentimental and nostalgic towards their photos? So I went to the only reasonable place a Gen Z would go, TikTok.
Watch me go like this. Watch me go like. Yo, these haters don't like me. I level up my game, excites me. Wanna imitate, they bite me. Cause you're a snack free course, I'm saucy. Here's a joke, you're a meme. Wanna steal my style, what a thief. Bulletproof like none, stay clean. I'm a cat.
I post probably like on average 3 videos a day. There was a point where I was posting like 10 times a day. The way I love dancing, like, oh my God. I don't think as much about archiving and saving. I just kind of hope that the internet will just keep it forever. But I do love reflecting back. There was a moment in 2020, I think, when we all thought we were gonna lose TikTok. And I remember I saved every single one of my videos. I was like, oh, I can't ever forget this. I was making videos with my mom. My niche, my brand was dance content with my Japanese mom. Sometimes people are like, you shouldn't film every moment of your life, but like I have like probably 100 videos with my mom that I'll be able to watch forever and ever, and that is so special to me. I could not ask for anything more than that. I like this time capsule that I've created for myself.
I think a balance between those two extremes is probably going to naturally hit on what captures what cognition tells us about how to remember things. So if there's information that's stored here in your brain, but you never pull it out, you never look at it, you never reflect on it or reminisce, it's not going to be very strong. When you're 80, what is it going to be like for you to sit down and look through 5 million photos of your life? You're never going to do it.
What stuck out to me most about my conversation with Dr. Hinkle is how useful photos can be for memory retrieval. Research shows dementia patients and people with other memory problems who look at personal photos engage with them more than if they are shown other visual data. This is partly because there's a concept called boundary extension. Your brain fills in memories that aren't there in the photo, what lies beyond the boundary of the frame.
It's not just about what's physically in the photo. It opens up your recollections for that time period. But your brain knows. The camera's not capturing this whole thing. Your brain processes more information than you see.
I think what bothers me about my middle school photos is that they're so edited, it's hard to retrieve any information that feels nostalgic. In a photo like this, there's not much ability for boundary extension.
The research that I've been doing over the past 2 years is suggesting that editing our photos and then reviewing those edited photos is shaping our memories. We don't remember well what we had cropped out in the photos. And I am, in essence, editing my memories as I'm editing my photos to some degree. You're losing the potential for valuable cues when you have unrealistic cues that don't align with reality.
But she reassured me there's always memory cues to pull from looking through old photos.
Maybe I can point my laptop towards it.
Oh, that is, first of all, it's absolutely adorable. Let's look at that headband, you know? Is that like eyeliner on you?
But you can't even see the background in that photo. I'm like sitting on a bed or something somewhere, but...
What do you remember? I mean, try doing it. What do you remember about those bracelets?
Like, just everyone had silly bands on their arms. Then it's like, at the end of the day, you would take them off and your skin would be like indented.
But that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, you can get memories, and now you're remembering, you're getting nostalgic for those silly bands, right? Remembering fondly this goofy, funny thing, and that came from you spending a few moments just looking at that photo, noticing the jewelry, and me just asking a simple question.
I even took photos throughout this reporting process to see if I would remember making the story better.
Now I'm the crowd shaker, I'm the game changer. I do it now, they all do it later. For all the haters, go get your cake up. No, I don't pop and copping those acres. OG creators up on that radar, steady stacking up on that paper. I do it now, they all do it later. Advice for the haters.